Habari gani? Kwanzaa has officially already started, and I'm a little bit behind with this video, but I wanted to go ahead and make a video introducing the 7 books of Kwanzaa that I've picked out for this year. Picking out books is a really nice way to celebrate Kwanzaa. It helps, sometimes you might not know what to do, so reading a book every day, if you have young children, is a great way to celebrate Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is also not supposed to be a consumer's holiday, so you're really not supposed to buy that many things. That's why books are great, because most of these books you should be able to find at your local library, and they can still be considered some of the zawadi, some of the gifts. They're temporary gifts that you're going to give back, but if you did buy them, I don't think there would be anything wrong with that, as these are gifts that keep giving. These are good kinds of gifts. So, the first day of Kwanzaa is Umoja. And my pick for that day is Little Rabbit's Kwanzaa. This would also be a good book to have up, maybe even before Kwanzaa begins, to get the kids starting to think about what Kwanzaa is and what it means, and to remind themselves. I love this book. This is my favorite all-around Kwanzaa book. A lot of the other books are really antiquated and really old looking, and they make Kwanzaa look really boring. But this one is so much fun. I love the way the characters are dressed. Even though all the characters are animals, they're dressed in African clothing, and it's a really fun story. It's like a normal story, but it's about Kwanzaa instead of just being like a Kwanzaa guide, which isn't really fun for children to read. And here again, you can see the way that the animals are dressed. It's really cute. So Little Rabbit goes out all around the neighborhood and talks to Mama Oriole, and the art is great until he gets everyone together for the big feast at the end. And it's great for helping your children anticipate that last day of Kwanzaa, that big feast. They'll go through the emotions with Little Rabbit, and it's wonderful. That's actually my #1 pick. So I would read that either before Kwanzaa or on Umoja. The next day is Kujichagulia Self-Determination, and that means determining our identity for ourselves. And I would pick for that day Thunder Rose. I love this book. #1, look at the artwork. Okay, illustrated by Kadir Nelson, written by Geraldine Nolan. I probably didn't pronounce that correctly. You can't really go wrong with a Kadir Nelson book. If you go to the library and you just ask for anything illustrated by Kadir Nelson, you're gonna get pictures that bring even the most boring story to life. And this is not a boring story. It starts off with a bang. It's great. It is a longer read. If you have older children, this is definitely not like a baby book to read to a little baby, but a 5-year-old could listen to it. It's very poetic. Look at the picture. I love books that bring history to life and make it really interesting. So here's a historic picture, but look at the baby. Baby's got a lightning bolt around her head. Ooh. So yeah, the pictures and the artwork is beautiful, and it's really amazing. The story, as I said, it's a longer story. So take some time with this one. You could probably do a lot of foundations. It's history, and it's really about Thunder Rose and her own identity and our identity in America. So that's my choice for day 2, which is Kujichagulia. Now, day 3 is Ujima, Collective Work. The next day after that is Ujima, Collective Work and Responsibility. And the book I've chosen for that is Thank You, Omu. I just wanted to remind you that all the books I've chosen are not only written, are not Black books in just the cover or the art. They are written and illustrated by Black people. So the next book I've chosen for Ujima, Collective Work and Responsibility is Thank You, Omu. Thank You, Omu is written and illustrated by Oge Mora. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, Oge Mora or Oge Mora. Omu means queen in Nigerian Igbo, the Nigerian language Igbo. And for her, for the author growing up, it meant grandma. So in this book, Grandma's making a really delicious soup, and everyone around town smells it. It kind of reminds me of Stone Soup, the book Stone Soup. everyone around town, or the Chinese fable stone soup. Everyone around town smells this delicious soup and wants some. And Omu comes in and gives everyone, and she shares and she shares and she shares. And she doesn't have anything left for herself. So it's up to everyone else to help make Omu a soup at the end of the day, working together. So that's what I choose Ujima for a book to read. Thank you, Omu. The next day is Ujama, Cooperative Economics. And I couldn't find a book that was too much focused on economics. But I really did enjoy this book, which is by Rachel Isadora, The Fisherman's Wife. And any of her books really are awesome. I've got some of them here with me. Look at this beautiful one, The Princess and the Peas. It's a great story. And you can talk about the economics of someone being a princess. You could also always work the theme into it just by talking about how rich princesses are, or how we can work together. How would money be better spent? I'm just showing you more of Rachel Isadora's books. Rapunzel, look at that beautiful artwork. All of her books are great. The Ugly Duckling I have here, but I picked out The Fisherman and His Wife because the fisherman's wife gets a little bit greedy. There's a fish that they can ask wishes of, and the fisherman's wife starts getting really, really greedy and only asks for things for herself. So this is a really interesting book to talk about economics, and sharing and making wise decisions with our money on Ujama. So that is Rachel Isadora, The Fisherman's Wife. The next day is Nia, or Purpose. And for that day, I would also combine these two. The first one is The Princess and the Pea. There's one princess, and it's her purpose to be the princess. So this is also a book by Rachel Isadora. She has a distinct artistic style, and I think it's a good book to talk about everyone's individual purpose. Another book that I don't have with me is Imani's Moon. That really talks about a little girl figuring out her purpose. And Island Born, this is by Bruno Diaz, and I would just say that I think this is his first children's book. I love the cover. I love the artwork all the way throughout. And, you know, it talks about a little girl finding out about her own history. It would also be a great book for Kujichagulia Self-Determination. So she can't remember the island that she was born on, or the island that her parents come from. So she goes all around the community. And this is an Afro-Latino story, so it's a story from the diaspora, and figures out, asking people for a school project, what was it like back on the island? And they tell her. So this is a really good book. It's a little bit of a longer read, like Thunder Rose, but I highly recommend this for this year, and I think this is a new book for 2018. The next day is Kuumba, or Creativity. And let me take my little hold tag off of here. I loved this book. This is one of my favorite books of 2018. What If? I think everybody, oh wait, I could totally do like one of those book things with this. Hold up. Wait, that's just making it bigger. Oh, no, I can't. Well, anyway, this is What If, and it's just about imagination and being creative. So in the story, which has the most beautiful artwork, a little girl who's a very creative little girl begins to make something, and she says, you know, what if I didn't have any materials? You know, what if I didn't have a pencil and I only had paper? Well, I'd use the paper to make art. Well, what if I didn't have any paper and all I had was the table? Then I would carve the table to make art. And it keeps going on. What if you don't have that? How can you be creative with what you have? The book is about how you can be creative with what you have. And the theme is nothing can take away your imagination. Nothing can take away your creativity. It's an excellent, beautiful book. And it's one that will just stay with a child forever. It stayed with me forever. And so the last day is Imani, or Faith. And for this day, I recommend a book called Imani's Moon. It has a really nice CD to go with it. It's a longer read, But I think that if you get the book and you're reading it also with the CD, it becomes like an experience. It would be on the last day, and it's really about a girl finding her, keeping faith in herself and in her religion. It takes place on the continent of Africa, because I don't think any of these other ones do, so except for the fisherman and his wife. So I wanted to put one in there like that. And so Imani's Moon will be my choice for the 7th day. So let's go over those one more time. And that's it. Thank you so much. Remember that books make the best decorations. So like on your table, you could line them all up, really, really pretty. And the kids will get really anxious to read one. And they're like, ooh, I wonder what this one's about. I wonder what that one's about. Oh no, we'll see on that day. And you could even put a little tag on it with the day that it will be read on, and what is the meaning of that day. And yeah, use books to help you explore and celebrate Kwanzaa. Thank you very much for watching my channel, and if you want more videos about books, children's books, and other books, subscribe.